Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life chose us.
Thank you to Revyz for backing us up and making the Jira Life possible.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Feels like it's been a couple of weeks since I did this.
Slackers.
Yeah, things went a little crazy last week.
We have a job that our producer and you apparently failed to realize.
Well, we had it covered. There's coverage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Others of us are enjoying vacation because we
What's a
don't have that
vacation?
like streak to go on that says I've never missed an episode. So I have to feel bad if I do.
Where'd you go on
So-
vacation?
Yes, Sarah, where did you go on vacation?
So Upper Wisconsin.
Mhm.
We there is a lodge up there, Stout Island Lodge. They should sponsor us, eh? Anyway, so we got we had our own little island in a lake in Wisconsin.
Oh, those are awesome.
So
You're from Wisconsin?
I am not. I am Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Because
But
you're
we
University of Kansas, or Missouri, Kansas City, if I remember right. You went to school at. Yeah.
But we so we had a little island to ourselves, which was kind of fun. Let the boys have like just whatever they wanted to do on our island. And everybody survived is the most important thing.
That's right.
Always
Yeah.
important.
Is
So,
it warm enough? Oh.
before we begin, I saw this and I felt it was so appropriate considering our topic today. My good friend, also a fellow Atlassian creator, Josh Golinsky. I totally butchered that last name.
Okay, it's not just
understand that
me
now.
then, because I'm always butchering it. Let's go by Josh. And then when we have Josh Costello, and then we have this Josh. I'm like, just the other Josh then.
You're one of the Joshes.
One of the
But
Joshes.
he did this whole thing about how Jira is overpriced and comparing it to all the other options for different tools and all this. I thought this was a great article, well informed, kind of missed the point, which I think is not Jira is expensive compared to other tools. Jira is expensive compared to itself 5 years ago.
Yeah, but that could be said about every tool, right? Every
I
tool.
mean, we had a pretty significant inflation spike about 2-3 years ago.
Well, yeah, and so the expense becomes obviously, right? Is it worth it? What is worth it, right? And are the premium features?
I think Atlassian's slowly realizing how much budget enterprises have to give to Microsoft and Salesforce that they're like, we are just as valuable as that, so start giving us a piece of that pie.
Well, and Jira is what you make of it, is why I would argue very strongly against that. And out of all of Atlassian's apps, that's the one that you can make worth the biggest bang for the buck. It has the best cost per value. So whenever you add those marketplace apps on, especially if you keep it, and this is the part that I don't understand about big organizations, is if you have one admin or two admins and you got 200 people, just get the free tier, standard tier, and glue stuff on. And it's going to be 10 times cheaper because it's priced per head. If it were priced per bulk, like an enterprise or E3, E5, like in a workspace of Microsoft, then it would be different. But no, Jira is what you make of it. And you can also make your little add-ons. You can't do that with everything. So I think it's worth it. You just have to be smarter than your software.
Yeah. But let's talk about the
Exactly.
free. Let's talk about free though, right? Because Jira, I still remember the days where I remember my buddy one time, he was like, Alex, guess what I did? And I'm like, I don't know, buy a car. He's like, no, I got Jira for $10 in perpetuity. I'm like, it's $10? He's like, yeah. And then he's like, I have a little computer I just bought, a little Nix. I don't know if you guys have seen the Intel Nix or Nux. There you go. And he's like, I'm just gonna put it in that and just put it away and just do my own ticketing system at home. And I'm like, okay, you need a hobby, but second, $10.
What year was that?
This was
16.
This was a while ago because this was back when Server Starter Edition was a thing. And second of all, he really should have put it on a VM.
But still, like Atlassian today is still very cheap. But damn, man, $10 in perpetuity was like.
I mean, let's ignore the fact that there's been a ton of security problems that's come out since the end of life server, I could still set up a VM, install the last edition of Jira Server, plug in my license, and it will still run just fine. Can't say that about data center. Can't say that about cloud. The moment you stop paying either of those, it's gone.
Yeah.
Adobe just canned theirs too. Adobe had a pretty good deal that it was basically for students because your CS6 just vaporizes sometimes whenever you get done with college. They, now you don't have their free advertising, that your students are bringing to the professions. But they just canned that, and I mean, like, it was 2 months unannounced, everything, and everybody's going to the support and it's like, can I please get the key? And they're like, Adobe Support's like, they don't exist now, man. I'm sorry. But I think a couple of them do, like Captivate. I have a hard copy of Captivate, Storyline, Lectora, a bunch of those. So keep those hard copies.
Yeah.
It's always that trade-off, right? Between what do you give up for the upgrades, for the consistency, right? And what you actually own. It's what you give up for the convenience. Because I know I'm speaking like super low level here, but the idea that we don't own, we buy, we rent, whatever, a lot of our stuff anymore, but our books, our music libraries, right? Down to that level.
I have started making a point to get movies I enjoy as physical media and keeping them, just because I'm tired of having to go find, okay, where is this movie now?
I only buy physical copies of everything, which is why I have a very hard time with modern day gaming.
Yeah. Well, and like you ran into it with Deadpool. It was the Marvel Universe that the licenses split. So you have Sony with one, Sega with another, Warner's got another, and they can't re-release Deadpool. And it was like the only good one to me. So I'm like, no, definitely always take that hard copy. There's a gentleman that I was at LA Tech event a couple weeks ago or last month. That was like all of the nerds converge upon the Marina Del Rey and Santa Monica, actually. And he's doing just that. He had a 35 millimeter film that I haven't seen in 1,000 years. I think my grandfather had a 35 millimeter camera, and that's what they're doing is reverse preserving. And I was like, yes, I went like every single old like Disney film that I can get my hands on, all my South Parks, and I have every single like music. Now music,
I still got Toy Story on VHS. If you ever wanted to watch it. At my mom's house. Next time we do a barbecue, I'll just put the Toy Story on VHS in the living room.
We have Bambi too. Bambi, I think you have Snow White too.
I got like all the Disney classics on VHS. I'm telling you, I hate SaaS. I'm not okay with licensing your ownership. But let's talk about the free version of Jira though, right? Because we have a free tier, and Jira is Jira. Do you really need to pay for Jira?
Yes, depending on who you are. Because if you don't pay for it, then you're losing the security and that permissions like link. And that is what bars Confluence. So like, not to talk ill of the others, but that is I run into that wall every single time I consult. And I'm like, do you want to bring this on as your onboarding product or CMS, whatever? No, absolutely not. I can't keep people out of that whiteboard. I'm scared of where the AI is going. Can a Rovo agent read all of this? And I don't have the answers up front because it's not in the documentation yet. It's not released. Jira needs to stay secure because of who Jira serves, is what my argument would be. And you're talking software development. You're talking the Databricks folks, the cybersecurity folks are the majority who are using those big ones, the premiums, the enterprise. Yes, you're going to have to pay for that. Yeah, they're going to need the support from you guys who are the experts there that are helping them out. So I would say yes. But for some schmo like me, no, just free.
Again, I tell people this all the time. If you're like a small company, you only have 3 people, don't waste your money.
Right.
Or if federation makes sense, if you only have a small number of groups and you don't need that permission, you can federate to multiple instances. Do that. But really, for Jira, the key to what you need, it comes down to 2 questions. Do you need the permissions? Which more often than not is yes, if you have a larger organization. Or do you need to have more than 10 people collaborating? Which most of the time you do.
Most of the time, yeah. It's funny how they landed on 10 and 3 for JSM. I wonder why
Well, I mean,
JSM was
10
ever
goes
10.
back to that starter license. I get why they made the limit 10 because the $10 starter license only had 10 software users.
But then
Yeah, I know.
JSM's got the 3, and JPD's got the 3.
JSM
Maybe we
starter
compare
license
the-
had 30 agents, so
Or compare the JSM price, license cost to a Jira license cost, and maybe that's where it's divide by 3 is almost where you end up. But then you get free customers, right? You still have unlimited free customers, right? With the 3 JSM.
I think so.
I actually have a sheet. Yeah, I think it is. It's three JSM. Come on, baby. You know you want to. There you go. Good Lord. But it is 3 for JPD. I know that. 3 for JSM. It was 3 for, I think, like not software, but work management maybe. Jira Align. Nobody knows because it's like $1 billion and 10, I think, for Trello, 10 for Confluence, maybe 5 or 10 for Confluence.
I will stand by this. Jira Line is not a real Jira.
They dropped Jira. They don't. It's just a line now.
The app, right?
They heard you, Rodney.
But I don't even know what it does. I've have scoured the internet for people and users. I've reached out to people I would never the ERPs and huge big fours and you don't know me. You use Jira Align. It's just that abrupt. It's what does it do? It's like fairy tales and magic.
What I've come to understand, because I was playing around with Agile Craft before Atlassian bought them, and that's what became Jira Line, is it's meant for coordinating Scrum sprints between multiple teams.
Yeah.
Which that's really what it's for, is coordinating all that and figure out all the dependencies and all that.
Was Jira broken that day?
I mean, apparently, but at the same time,
That
it
doesn't
was
make
a
sense
separate
to me.
company that Atlassian
For
bought.
120 grand?
Dude, I mean, I feel like those.
all right, Jira Align now, 120,000.
But I feel like those features from Jira Line need to be in Jira.
I think that was the original intent. They just never could figure out how to do that.
Yeah, and like Matt's saying, right? It's
For 120 grand, if I want to.
Holy moly! I had my comments turned off.
Oh, right.
There.
Yeah. So
no.
Align goes a lot with safe implementations. It goes along a lot with some of the larger organizations and those, the multi-team Scrum of Scrum kind of things. But it is an interesting thing because I hear you also, Alex, right? About what are all the things that you feel like should be kind of built in? And because I keep wondering about, there's the structure that Align brings to it all. But then there's the what do you really need sometimes is for me, it feels a little bit more like goals and projects, right? So I just need updates. I just need to know people are doing what they need to do. And maybe I don't have to track it at the super granular level.
Sarah, do you mean Jira Spaces?
I know. No. See? And I did. I meant goals and projects. I did not mean goals and spaces. Because that's the flip side, right? Is because they had goals and then projects. So now, workspaces, spaces are where you handle your work that you're gonna feed up into your projects to feed up into your goals.
I couldn't make the emergency meeting. I had a conflict, but I watched part of it. And my 2 cents is that Atlassian has been hinting that Jira and Confluence are going to merge for a long time now.
Mhm.
And that's my bet for Team 25.
Yeah.
You're up.
6.
6.
Are
No,
you going to
I don't
think
think
it's Team
Europe?
26?
No,
You think Europe?
They won't do this right now. That's
yet.
too bold.
Well, what sense does that make? Other than the one thing I do like about it and hate about it is that you have gotten rid of that permission, that wonky permission that happens whenever a company buys Jira and brings it up to the premium level, and then they buy Confluence and bring it up to standard, and your user configurations are hell on earth because one needs to be able to do the other, and you're like, well, no, how do I configure these? And you have 5 groups, 2 different instances of the exact same product and exact same look, all those kind of things. And so I would like to see that get evened out first. That is miserable.
Yeah, because then doesn't it go more so into that model of, hey, you just get it, right? So
Right.
if you're going to buy Jira, then you kind of just get Confluence along with it.
I think you get bundled now. You have a bundle of 2 different ones, if I recall right. It's
Teamwork
like Jira
Collection?
Confluence Robo.
You're talking
Yeah,
Teamwork
the-
Collection, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Jira, Confluence, and Loom, and some agents.
So the Teamwork Collection just becomes Teamwork, right? And then it's just a matter of, do you need structured data? Do you need more narrative / structured data? Or do you just need to make videos about what's going on?
Okay, I'm reading the chat go off, the live chat
No.
go off on my comment. And let me just say, does it make sense to merge them? No. Fully agree with everyone on here.
Well, I
When
disagree.
has that last thing ever done what made sense?
No.
I disagree. I can absolutely see merging these things and the reasons.
I think they're gonna merge. I think they are
Yes.
definitely gonna merge.
1000%.
Well, I think that here's your issue is you're already struggling with security selling point using Confluence, which what I would do is do 2 bundles then. You give the fluffy bundle for non-text that it's like Loom, Confluence, and Jira or whatever they want. And then for your sensitives, your Databricks type folks that are going to be like, oh, absolutely not. You're going to have to either split those or do like Jira, JSM, and
No, I
Robo
don't
or
think so.
something.
I don't think this, because what Atlassian will do is they'll just tack on more features to Guard Premium. That'll let you do your data segregation, whatever you want to do there.
For an upcharge.
Yeah, for an
Yeah,
upcharge,
right.
which is why a specific Guard Premium will get that. And or they're gonna push you over to their new private clouds for an upcharge. So yeah, you can still get the protections you want, but it's gonna come at a cost. And Atlassian, for everybody else, because they're competing with ClickUp, is gonna give you just one single streamlined user interface that has everything you need to do between all the tools in one place.
So the mission control must be, or it's a C panel. That's all it is. It's C panel. Is the configurations must be a lot more granular and a lot more intense then. Because I think I've messed around with pre or enterprise at least once with Jira. But like I said, if you can lock down the whiteboard, if you can lock down all add-ons, all apps, all API, all of that in those packets, sure. But that's
You could definitely do that though, because maybe not at the extent you're describing, right? But APIs are behind your auth policy now, right? So you can put users in an authentication policy and say none of these users can get any APIs. So that's taken care of. Public links, public anonymous access, and guests, those are at a macro level. You can turn those things off as well. So it's only a matter of them adding a feature flag to a whiteboard to a Loom video and turning that on and off as well.
Let's talk about these permissions, because Confluence is missing a bunch. I mean,
you don't even
add and edit are
don't
still
even
the
have
same permission. You cannot specify what type of content is created.
But not only
within the
that,
space.
but nope.
But lay it on us, Liz.
You just had a new release of REST. Also, I'm looking for it. I lost it on me. Of course you did. You had it all set up, and then you I don't know, walked through a doorway and just lost everything. No, it's right here. I think it's a Jira platform. Yes, it is. So a lot of the Confluence people, all of you are going to love this in the chat, because bulk applications. We finally got something. It is Jira Cloud Platform REST version 3. Just got released, and I mean today. I just saw it. And so you will be able to do bulk editable fields. You got move issues, available transitions, a bulk unwatch, bulk watch. You can also probably curtail some of those along with permissions, which they have them right down here, the permissions and scopes, to narrow that down and block more. So you're going to be able to upload more. You're going to be able to make bulk changes to your content. That's something that I was going to play with today with the Robo Dev agents, because if we're going to keep, flavor of the week vernacular in the documentation and learning, then we're going to have to make very wide changes. No problem. So you need a bot that recognizes the keyword and changes it. So, or an add-on or something like that, or even that inline that they just added. So more free stuff. Very good.
So that does bring us to the point of the day. Liz, I think we were talking on Rob's Discord about a month ago, and you brought up you were the queen of free and cheap.
Queen Aline. Very.
Better way to put it. So we're talking about this. Jira is getting expensive. We're not even talking about all the add-ons you have to have, like Guard or Guard Premium or Loom or everything else just around Jira and Confluence. So if you're a CIO and you're being told you've got to make some cuts, get this to be a little more lean, what are you doing?
Well, the very first thing, I actually did this with SAP Litmus, because SAP is like the ding, 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 ding. Every single move you are spending money. They're like the HubSpot of LMS, or were of Litmus. And so the very first thing I always did was I said, who are your critical learners? Do you need an entire 2,000 person per head cohort? Or do you need to focus now, and that way you can ebb and flow on the budget? So you get kind of like 400, something like that. Or if it's everybody who needs to be there, or if you just have the criticals, start getting focus groups. Yeah, and that is really identifying who needs the most imperative training. That is also what I do with SMBs, because what I do right now is technical training consultant. And how I do that is I take non-technicals, little itty bitty businesses that are very, very like, oh gosh, what are we doing today? And are having to learn Salesforce. They're having to learn their ERP in a 20-person business. And they don't have the money for a Salesforce, an Oracle, an Atlassian vertical. They just have the money to buy the product. Now you got to have somebody catch up to learn it. And so what I've been doing is telling them, get the people who are hungry. Don't go get somebody who hates it, who doesn't want to learn, who's just totally burned out. Let it be voluntary, and then learning doesn't hurt anymore. And let it be something they're interested in. Yeah, because I can always tell when I'm like, everybody is asleep and wants to do anything but be in here right now, and I'm increasingly feeling the same. So you don't want to put your trainer and your trainees on that. You don't get good results. You don't get good ROI. They can't answer support questions. They can't administrate. So you're going to shoot yourself in the foot doing that. So it's all about critical learners, critical cohort, critical testing, whatever. So get that focus group, get those 3 people of your 20 that you want to learn, train them up to basic admin skills. Let's be very honest here. Learning management systems, content management systems, ERPs, Oracle, Salesforce. Yes, they have nuance and glitches and bugs that we hate, but it is not rocket science. You could figure the little thingies to let these people in things and these people not in things. And you have admins and reviewers and editors and that. So once you start, use a user persona template, that marketing, go talk to Lauren McGoodwin and she'll teach all about that. And that's how you choose your people if you're struggling to do so too. So it's all about that minimize, reduce. I'm not an agile purist. I am a lean purist because I'm a cheapskate. So you just get the bare essentials, and that trainer becomes that trainee becomes a trainer. It's called train the trainer. It's a fundamental method of teaching in instructional design. So use your principles too, because that is going to be the most efficient way. So the reason that people have written this stuff down and done it forever, right? It's because it worked. And then they found a way to make it more and more and more efficient. And that's your job as your administrator, is to chip away at all of that. And not one system, mind you. That does not a system admin make. We're talking the whole system, everything working together. That's where you earn your big bucks. Always look at productivity, efficiency, and ROI. So those are where I attack. Is just reduce, bare minimum, and then we go from there and expand from there. Because it's like, was it measure twice, cut once? Yeah. You want to make sure that you want to make sure.
I don't know, Liz. I do mine the other way around. I cut twice and I measure once.
Are you in transportation? Department of Transportation?
I'm an engineer that's good enough for government work, so.
Oh no! So yes. All right,
so yes,
good.
Basically.
I'm curious.
So
go ahead, Rodney.
I'm sorry, no, Sarah. You've been quiet for a while. I think you go first. Okay. My thing to wait.
No, so it always has me thinking, right? So there, startups, very agile, scrappy, just making things work. And then there's always this, or it seems like as they grow, right, as companies get bigger, even the people who go from a smaller company up to the larger enterprises, it's almost like a conformity at some point now that I'm bigger, I can't do all those same things that I did when I was little. Even those things that you did when you were little seem to work okay. And there's this idea like, no, now I need these significantly bigger, more costly systems in order to run these things, because I'm honestly, I don't know. Are they really that much more complex, or do we just think they're that much more complex? And the status quo says they're all complex and they require this level of systems behind them. But do they?
You just hit on the head the reason that they fail the most. Startups have anywhere from a 78% to about a 93% failure rate within the first year. It's because they scale up too fast. It's because somebody looks at it and says, oh, well, you need Salesforce. You also need Oracle. You need Bamboo. You need all these systems. And, their buddy from college has all of these and they have a business too. Yeah, but their business is 500 and you're 15. Like, what are you thinking? And so you don't know because you don't have the money to strategize with like a McKinsey whenever you're 10 people. You don't have like $3 million just to sit somebody like in front of a Big Mac and be like, do I use this LMS? So that's pretty much all that the big wig consultants have. But they do. They scale up way too fast and they don't know how to exploit the talent they have per things that aren't within their title. So you have that little ecosystem of like, I know Alex and Lina, you guys are like systems engineers and always been with like system creation, system operation. There's more to that. There's agile in the back. There's project management, program management. You also have interconnectivity. So that's collaboration, that's async, that's strategy, business ops, all of that, revenue ops even. So having that talent recognition is a pure built-in talent, and that usually gets people too. It gets the small boys. I had a boss, Susie Chu. I'm going to sell her out because she's awesome. She's Brooklyn, New York. She had bar none the best talent recognition I've ever seen. Somebody. She could meet you for 2 minutes, be like, yes, you're going with Word and the Microsoft ecosystem. You're going to write this. She's going to do this, just like that. And that has saved her a ton of money, saved our department $19,000-$20,000 just in like 3 months. Awesome. So that's a skill you need to get. But yeah, no, Sarah, you killed it. It's that we gotta go. We gotta be bigger now. We have 10 people. Nobody knows what the hell Oracle does. Nobody. Not one.
Even if you don't have 10 people.
Go ahead, Rodney.
Even if you don't have 10 people, I've seen organizations with like 2,000 people. They license everyone on Jira, get the license need for that. Then when you go in, you actually do the analysis, see who's using it. Half those people have never logged in.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like companies overbuy when they don't need to, especially with like Jira. There's a thing called forms, right? That you can just give to users who don't need a license, and they can add tickets into Jira without having to be users of the environment. And those are ways of easily just saving money there.
But I don't think some companies just don't care about the cost.
They're big, and they got money.
I mean, maybe I've seen it in different sizes, right? Like some people, I think that they fear that if they let a tool, process, a debate get in the way, it costs more than just buying the thing. Like I can't tell you how many meetings I was in to just talk about a problem, and like just the collective price of the per hour of everybody in that call exceeded the cost of the thing we're arguing about. So it's cheaper to just buy. It's cheaper to just buy everything and just not even have the debate, not have the conversation, and just do it.
Maybe in bigger companies, but like startups, right? I feel like startups don't leverage, like Liz said, the multiple skills that people have. And because if they title you as a software engineer, they're like, oh no, they're just gonna do software engineering. But if a software engineer can do multiple things, why not leverage that ability?
Because then you have to pay them also, and you can't get away with just paying one or an 80% of one person for 4 jobs, and that's what you end up having to ask in a startup too. It's miserable because you don't want to ask that. Sometimes you're like, listen, I know this sucks, man, but I've got 1.3 of 2 people that I need to hire that I could pay you. How's it going? And afford the system and the maintenance and all that. unless you want to pick up that gig too. And then I'll send you to certificate school or whatever, and you can do that, which has happened to me in the middle of a meeting before. So it does happen, especially in the small brass. But not utilizing 1099s well, not utilizing pay for projects. I understand, like in the state of California, you're going to struggle a little bit because of that AB5 law, which everybody acts like is kryptonite and impossible to figure out. When if you read with your eyeballs, it's very easy. There's like 3 check marks. But I digress. But you use personnel wisely and keep a roster, because I've done cyclical work for ages. I think I got really cyclical by 2016. So, of course, right before I moved out here. So May 1st, 2017 is when I moved to Los Angeles. And it was like, that is so much fun. I'm not even joking. Or just like,
this is my favorite thing to do. I call it the scream test. I got it from Scott Hanselman from Microsoft. They turn things off and just wait and see who complains.
I've done the same thing with add-ons. Who's using
Turn it
this? Turn it off, see who complains. No one does. Out of here, we're not paying that license anymore.
Yep.
Right. And you can rotate licenses out. API keys expire. API tokens expire. You can set all of these things. Hey, guess what? You can also automate them. I know I got tortured by Intra ID, and cobble stuff together that makes sense. I'm on Microsoft 365 Business Standard. You want to know how much I pay per year for my email hosting domain, website domain. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 other things. And then Microsoft Business Standard. I don't have Intune because I don't need it with 2.5 people that I'm usually working with. I cobbled together Defender and Power Platform. And I ran my cost, I think it was $32.98 per month. 12 years or 12 months. So each month. That's not bad.
You guys remember when the cloud used to be cheap, like in pennies?
It was a scam. It was just to get you off your own stuff so you become dependent on them.
Yep, they just want to hook us in.
Oh, Tim, I can't do that. I'm
I
so
wonder
sorry,
if the
Tim.
Wayback Machine has what Jira Cloud used to cost in 2016.
Wasn't it like 28? Yeah, I swear there was like a
Cloud's
2
been
and 8,
Cloud has
real-
been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like $3 a month or something there for a
I'm
long
gonna go.
time.
I'm gonna go check the Wayback Machine. I'm gonna go see if the Wayback Machine's got this.
My favorite thing is with photos. You know how our phones, like, they're getting better at taking photos and videos,
$2 a month.
and everything's backed up to the cloud, and they're like, "Oh, you're running out of storage." I'm like, "Oh, I won't be able to get my emails." Like with the Google stuff, right? If you run out of storage, then you don't get your emails.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, great.
Which is more important.
I know. It's like, oh, my kids' pictures. I can't delete
I
them.
love all my babies here. I love all my data. Right?
Yeah.
I'm the worst.
October 27th, 2011. Atlassian had, or there's a snapshot on the Wayback Machine of Atlassian's pricing page.
Ooh.
Yeah. What you say sounds familiar, Liz. Weren't you saying, or somebody was saying, or Matt was saying around $2 per user, maybe $3 per user?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
That sounds familiar.
I was
That
looking at our
sounds about right.
no access for you on the work item type. Sorry, Kythera is cracking up. It's like, no
soup for you.
no stuff for you. No Jira.
On demand, Jira on demand. Your first 10 users is $10 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Try Jira free. So you would get all 10 users. So at least it looks like we went up though, right? Because the first 10 users is now free.
So was
I mean,
it
yeah, for the
$10
first 10 users, but
$10 per user, or all 10 users?
All 10 users was $10. So now you get 10 users for $0.
Yeah. But you didn't have additions back then, right? Like you just, it was on demand or not.
but also notice it's a flat price. It's not a price per user.
Yeah, but also look at this. Your instance in the cloud managed by us. That's an interesting marketing. Hosted in the cloud, instant setup.
Isn't it?
I like this though. Like, oh look, and you had to add Greenhopper, so I guess we got to bump it up a little bit.
Greenhopper.
And Bonfire. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, this is taking me way back. I guess that's why it's the Wayback Machine.
I've never even heard of these.
Have you never heard of the Wayback Machine?
No. Way back, yes. Green. What? None of
Greenhopper?
those things. Yeah,
Well, you know what Greenhopper is. You may not
You
know
use
you
it
know
every
what green
day.
hopper is, but you know what it is.
And you use it all the time.
Is it Jira or Bamboo or something?
Jira software.
It's the boards
Okay.
and stuff,
It's the boards. Yep.
Yeah.
So weird.
right?
All that started out as an add-on that Atlassian bought. Jira did not come natively with boards when it first started.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense now because you've got like a little bit of Franken app with some stuff. Like what Trello does not make sense. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things does not belong, and not in a bad way. Trello's a great app. Why is it here? What you doing here? Did you get lost like on the way to the Easy Can bands? I mean, like it just doesn't fit in with the rest of it. It doesn't fit in with torturing you to extract its data. So I had to think it came from somewhere else sane. Jira's wild. Jira's been wild since like 2002, 3. Like I'm glad it's shaking that reputation and more people are getting to use it. More non-technicals are getting to use it, and bring in some fresh meat, like fresh brain to the infrastructure. Because like it'll just get rotten. It was just like no, only DevOps can operate it because like the data will never ever report right, and you just kind of like gave up. And it's like nah, we'll just go get Monday. Everybody Monday.
Oh, apparently we're bringing everybody in. Jens actually worked on some of the original cloud implementations. So Jira On Demand, which is literally a Jira instance somewhere in the cloud.
I love it when Jens chimes in because then he's like, "You guys are all wrong." That's how it was.
Well, even just the terms, right? On demand versus cloud, and
Cloud,
like
yeah.
because I think at the time then even like video and whatnot, right? It was music on demand and videos on demand. But now
it's like
streaming,
it's the point where every stream platform was something plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Google Plus. Oh,
Look at this. We now have cloud pricing here. It was still the same. $10 for 10 users, and then $1,500 for 2,000 users.
Yeah, Jen
What's
said
it
it was
at?
never $2.
Yeah. Maybe
What's
I
it at
just
right
wanted
now,
it
though?
to be the Better Off Dead. Give me my $2.
Well,
So.
I'm just curious what $2,000 users cost you right now at an annual price. Is it per month? No, this is per month, right? Yeah, no, let's go back to month. Is Jira that much more expensive now?
No, it's not $6.
About
It's
4
free for
times
the
more
first 14
expensive than my
days.
math is right.
It won't let me. Okay, let's do this one. So 120 divided by 12.
10.
Thank you. Thank you.
10,050.
I'm not even gonna try.
So 10 times? No, 8 times more expensive?
Yeah.
Yeah, so's bread.
So it's living, just being upright and breathing.
Hey, don't
I
give them
actually
any
have
ideas.
a-
They're going to start charging for oxygen soon.
We already do that in
Oh.
LA. You're fine. It's flavored too. I don't understand it. I do not get that.
Didn't
kind
we
of thing.
literally have a movie about why this was a bad idea?
Probably like 1,000
I'm pretty
times.
sure that was one of the plot points behind the Lorax movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not what I was
Does Jira
thinking.
really have 10 times more features, though?
Ones that work consistently?
Yeah, I feel like I was showing Lina today data centers Jira, and she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's Jira." She's like, "Ah." I'm like, "It's kind of the same."
No.
Yeah, it is. A board's a board. A work item's a work item.
I guess it doesn't look fancy and like bubbly and.
Well, I mean, so I could get behind 10 times more features, right? Because let's talk first about the idea of Green Hopper, right? So at least, Green Hopper makes that 1 times more or 2 times more features than just Jira was back then.
Mhm.
If you think about the things that they bought, right? So you've got plans, and now, at least with premium, with portfolio plans. So I think you could make a pretty easy case for 10 times more beneficial features than just features.
But personally, that just makes the case, back to our earlier point, where we definitely need to be auditing users and kicking anyone off who isn't using the product.
Well, and how many of those things are features that were built by internal dev, and how many were band-aids that were built by Kristen and Rodney and Lina and everybody? That's what I want to know. I want to know how much cost the consumer is having to put back into the app to customize it to what they need, and how many of those things are basic, like I don't know, exporting data from Confluence. That is ridiculous that you don't have a last modified date of when something's impacted. That is absolutely ludicrous to me. You've got to have some sort of user ID. I understand privacy. I get it. I've been DoD LMS with the Army. I understand having to erase every single identity of everything and just have a number this long. If that's what it takes, then get on that. Yeah, and it's going to be a cleaner audit. Your people are going to be happier, and it's going to streamline your data flow so much easier.
So, and my response to this one for Kythera is get Guard Premium with Enterprise, and you have a better user management system.
Or get building.
So the answer is just to upcharge.
Atlassian has a solution for a lot of our problems. It just costs more money.
Mm-hmm. So what could you do though? So if you don't have the premium budgets, if you don't have the enterprise budgets, what do you do? Are the apps cheaper in the long run?
Get you an IDE, get you a code editor, start learning.
Yeah, but then you'll have to pay somebody who, if you don't feel comfortable, right? You have to pay somebody to do that. And then I don't know if you heard, but they're planning. If I heard it right, they're planning to let market vendors bundle things up.
Oh yeah. I did hear something about that.
So that might allow for people to do more things a little more cheaper.
No, but
when you have low code, no code, so many options that you get as part of your workspace that you are shooting yourself in the foot if you don't learn some of them. I understand I understand the apprehension, especially with Rovo right now. Where's my data coming from? And it is very opaque. That's an LLM. It's a custom LLM, and that is subjective opinion of somebody else that says this data is valid. I feel you. So go make your own. Machine learning is not hard. It is not hard. Yet, I mean, you don't have to be Lina, who's like, I eat differential equations for breakfast. You could be a moron. You could be a moron, just like me, who can barely tell time on a non-analog clock. And
there's ChatGPT, right? AI helps you.
Right, and that's. Yeah, well, it's your bots, your agents, your co-pilots are awesome because what you do is you take your skills and you break them off into little freebies and these little just heat-sinking missile targets of your high-level skills so that it doesn't get confused and start doing stupid crap like Microsoft Copilot every 4 seconds. So you target those things. You can do resumes. I have resumes tailoring down to almost, I timed it because I'm so anal retentive about this too. 6 minutes, 27 seconds for a 20-year ID LMS combo or systems admin combo. One does keywords, one says work experience. Did you get it? Check. Yes. The other bot says work experience. Did you get it? No. So it's keywords or skills. And then you have work experience. Yes. Work experience. No. Throw out the no's, keep the yes, and then tailor. Done.
Wait, hold up. I got to argue with Jens on this one because Shadow IT is not applicable to only a small percentage of customers. Every time that somebody goes to an Atlassian website and buys a Jira or a Confluence, and they use your company's email, you just got a discovered product, and then your guard just went up by 1 if they're not on one of your enterprise instances, right?
Yeah.
And that totally sucks. And only if you're an enterprise customer can you shut that down. Why? This should be open to every guard user, regardless of what version of Jira you're using. Like, I should be able to shut down the ability to go do that shadow IT. That should not be paywall behind enterprise.
100% agree.
I love the word should, friends. You know how I feel about should. Or at least if you don't know how I feel about should. I don't like it. Because you could, but should is a tough one, right? I think should's tough.
Well, then for shadow IT, we would not
Get
be
the big pictures.
I mean, Sean does have a point.
He has a point.
How many companies start using Jira because someone set up a server on their computer under their desk?
Oh my gosh.
That is true. Okay, so
I don't have that in here.
So let's say you build all your stuff, right? So you build all these things. What's maintaining them like?
Use the same components over and over again. So that's your one key. Now, yes, there's a pitfall there. What if one thing goes wrong? Then it's systemic. You don't have redundancy. It's just like a bridge that collapses. But if you use reputable companies, or you got to start thinking of like where your skills meet. I always say like, imagine you have somebody who has like half an arm and they go and you're getting a prosthetic for a leg. Is that going to help them with their arm? No. If your weakness is the arm, you get the prosthetic for the arm, right? And so it gives you the best shot of being able to compete and move around and function. So that's what you need to do, is you need to kind of counter your weaknesses. My weaknesses are can't add. Oop, compiler eats my lunch. You want to see like the worst Java anything? I'm like, I've been certified in JavaScript twice. I have no idea what's going on in it. None. And so like, I know those are the weaknesses. So am I going to sit here and make a bunch of Java and C++? God, no. Bots? No, because I'm bad at that. That's bad. So
now to kind of back off a Jens statement though, like not the same argument, right? But a small percentage of people in the world would want to do that. And I think Atlassian is going after the next 300,000 customers that could care less about that. They just want a tool that works. And hopefully, preferably doesn't break the bank.
Well, but they're gearing more towards non-text though. You notice that a lot of their app pursuits or their app pushes are non-code, no code, low code, and they're really championing that. So I think it's kind of like a little bit of both for sure.
Yeah, because
But
they
it's
have to.
tipping one way now. It's tipping more towards the non-dev.
I get like the low code, no code, but you still need to be able to think that way to be able to create all this stuff. It's not.
Just throw in ChatGPT. It'll just something.
Yeah, but for like ChatGPT, you have to be able to know how to do prompt engineering to get what you want. You cannot just tell it to do something and it's like, oh,
you tell it things and magical things.
No, it makes up a lot of stuff.
Yes, it does. And then you'll ask it, say, ChatGPT, are you lying? Are you lying, bud? And it's like, no, I'm absolutely sure. And you're like, Google, what you got? And you're like, hey, ChatGPT, what's up? He's like, I'm so sorry. I am the worst. I'm like, the faux sympathy thing with the last update. I'm like, oh my God. But he's like, give that like a digital pampering. And can you just like, please come back to me? And would this work? Like, I just need you to tell me if it's right or wrong. It's fine, ChatGPT. Oh my God, where's Copilot?
I did that with one of my ChatGPTs. I'm like, the way you talk to me, can you change this? Like, you're making me uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know with this kind of attitude. Would you just be more direct with me, please? And it's like, okay, yes, I will.
Jippity is a thing, okay?
Oh, Jippity.
Oh, Jippity.
Yeah.
Use Gemini right now. Gemini and Claude Code is bomb. I
switched over to Claude recently, and I'm much happier in Claude. When it works, though, because 9 times out of 10 it tells me sorry.
Anthropic did a naughty, and Reddit was trying to injunction them. So they were kind of in and out there for a second a couple weeks ago. But what were you doing in there? What kind of code or builds, or just messing around, or?
No, I don't got time to be coding, Liz. I'm running a business over here.
Yeah, but you're like super smart. You and Lina are like over there, like systems engineers. I'm like, I'm like the biggest imposter.
I mean, we say that, but last week on one of the study streams, there was some math problem, and I like did it instantly. And Alex like, I don't like doing math. I'm just in here like, Alex. Out of the two of us, only one of us has an engineering degree.
First, I've learned long ago to not do public math, and 2, I cried my way through my math classes. And so
I was telling Lina earlier, like, she was like, yeah, I picked math because I love it and it's comforting. And I was like, last time I cried was probably physics 1. I had my grandfather engineer. He's a aerospace engineer who worked on the Pratt & Whitney, I think it was like TFF something. It's the CF6, like new one on the KC-135. Yeah, I had him do my physics homework because doomed. I had a teacher that looked at me. He was the same for quantitative analysis and Calc 1. And that was the hardest math I had to take, was just Calc 1. It was the stupid calc for business and life science people. And this teacher looked at me and said, I see you like number your steps and everything for calculus. I just see the train go right off the tracks. And Dr. Muldrow, I will totally confess 15, 16, 20 years later that I cheated on that 3rd exam. Cheated as hard as I could because I had no hopes of passing it. I got a 54. I got a 4% cheating on the exam, and that man gave me a C.
Yeah.
That man gave me a C for the class and for quant.
I
Thank
think
you.
I personally think I would have done so much better in my calculus classes had if I didn't have chicken scratch for my writing, because once the letters started coming into math, dang, I was like, oh shoot, like everything looked the same to me.
I was telling Lina, the closest I came to differential equations is I had Spanish 2 after it. And I remember walking in there and I was like, what is this? There are 2 different sets of letters in 2 different languages. There's like a treble clef over here. I don't know what the hell's going on there. It's like zeros and arrows that to this day, I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. It was like the dark arts. And I was like, what is this? Like genie sorcery. Still don't know what it's doing. None.
My 11th grade pre-cal teacher went on maternity leave, and they brought this substitute teacher in. She had no idea what she was doing. We made her cry, and we made her bring her degrees. We made her bring her math degrees to justify that she was qualified to teach us. And it was like one issue. She went over an example, took up the entire whiteboard, and she steps back. She was like, "Does that look right?" And we're like, and we're all just looking at each other. We're like, "That looks like English. Are you sure we're in the right class?"
I'm 15. You're supposed to know this. Ironically, we had that geometry teacher. He falsified his credentials. He was supposed to be from the Air Force too. Negative. Then he lost it in the middle of class one day. Lost his marbles. Started screaming. Started crying. Started screaming again. Through a desk. Like there wasn't a kid or anything in it. And we're just like, all right, we're on one. And like went behind the desk because he was like little dude, and just like sat there and like crunched up in it and like had a mental moment. And I just walked out and went out to the vice principal. Was like, you need to improve your hiring practices like now. Maybe scan those credentials just one more time. But yeah, it was wild. It's wild. He would jump on the desk, and I just figured I'm from Midwest City, Oklahoma. That won't mean a whole lot to anybody but from there. So I've seen that behavior a lot.
So let's bring this right back to Rovo then. So how is the future going to change when Rovo is like reading everything, knowing everything, right?
It doesn't.
What do you mean it doesn't? It does.
It doesn't. No, see, that's where the security, and this answers Matt Durr asked a really great question before this. He said, I've noticed they gave freebies, all the freemium and free tier customers that access to Rovo and to a lot of the ecosystem, but at the same time, he expressed his concern with the security. Good concern. So what it is Rovo like only does the instance that you put it in. So let's say you wanted to measure your something in Jira with Confluence. No, you're going to have to use the API. And there's like all of these little granular permissions, especially right now in the Rovo dev agents that just got released. You cannot cross the streams, and that is intentional and a good thing. So it keeps those security risks down.
To you.
Well, I will be honest. I don't use AI in anything secure.
No. I mean, like, this is my nefarious thought, which is, if Atlassian is getting billed to do the calculation, they put up a front that says, "Yeah, we're all secure," but on the back end, I guarantee you, they're running those connections. They're doing whatever they got to do to get that data.
Oh, absolutely not. Nothing's secure because you're running JavaScript. Are you kidding? XSS attacks, silent DOMs. I mean, everything, mirrors.
Right. So imagine what happens when I can't imagine that Atlassian is putting cyber first.
No, it's like saying Microsoft is.
Yeah, but Microsoft's 10 times their size.
Yeah, but Microsoft has more breaches than them. Are you kidding? Like,
yeah, but what's going to happen when the teamwork graph takes over and they're in everybody's business, and then Atlassian becomes a huge target?
Oh, say that one more time.
So Microsoft has a target on their back because there's a lot of users. There's a lot of people using Microsoft's technologies. Rovo, now that it's included in your thing, right, or Atlassian AI, is only going to gain in popularity and momentum. There will be a tipping point where where people are going to go, "Oh, we hack this, we have access to good stuff." But if it's not built on a cybersecurity in mind first, right? Because we only just got API token expiration 6 months ago, right? And so Atlassian clearly doesn't prioritize cybersecurity from out of the gate.
for API key?
think
I think I've had
no,
mine
the
longer
API
than
used to
that.
expire
Like
before.
I thought I'm
You could set it up before.
No, you could set it up, but it didn't expire.
for a while.
No, you could
on
set
that
it up
one.
to expire before.
They would go on forever. When I was in my last
No, it
employer,
still
we would
expires
have,
if you
we
set
had
it that way.
APIs from 2020 that were still running.
Mm,
They were
You
there.
have two different kinds though now.
Now,
Were they back
again,
then too?
we're
Two
now.
different kinds that
Yeah,
you could set?
Atlassian's doing a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
They didn't years ago.
Right. Well, no, and that's like, but that's the same as like critiquing Jira or Confluence that way. And like Jira, I'm sorry, Jira was garbage in 2005, 2006. You weren't going to get any kind of trustworthy data. You might one time if you export, but not always. And if one thing broke, your exec that was playing golf didn't really care about your DevOps opinion. And so would take that data. That's what decisions were being made on. That is what gave Jira the really bad stigma. So that's a little bit of a Atlassian culture I'd like to see shift. I actually said that in the JPD forums very, very recently, about 25 minutes ago, where I was like, that would be cool. We start kind of locking that kind of thing down, where exactly what you're saying, not releasing before the product is safe. And I absolutely concur with you. I think they've jumped the gun on a couple.
So they need to.
Well, now that I managed to pass off the entire chat, Rocky, bring us home to close up this episode before I got a mob outside my house. Is it bad that everybody knows where my mom lives?
Yes.
So don't worry, they'll get you at Team Europe.
So how far away do I stay from Alex, guys?
Right.
I already have freaking Mike walking into our interview going, so you're the guy that doesn't like my UI, and now next time I see him is going to be, you're the guy that thinks that we're not safe. I'll show you
I have
my
a hard time
cybersecurity
believing
right
any
now.
of that is.
But that's
Yeah,
why we
I'm
have
having a
things
hard
like Revyz.
Right.
Yeah, which is why you should be backing up your Jira with Revyz, our sponsor of today's video.
It's
and
a
I mean-
really good idea.
You want to talk about cost effective too? Security has gotten very, very cost effective. I have a badass little system going on over here. I've got like I've got full tunneling VPNs, 2 of them. I've got like a scrambler. I love using Tails OS because it makes me feel like a super spy. I don't use it for anything nefarious because I don't have anything nefarious to really do / But yeah, no, you can get secure Defender, Intune is fun. Interest sucks, but you have to do it.
So Liz, you
yeah.
need to do me a favor though and
ma'am.
stop saying that you are not the technical person here.
I know Liz is more
because
technical
that
than
would
Lina and I
be
put
like
together.
Alex saying I'm so old, and I would like want to reach out
For
and
you-
hit him for saying he's so old.
I didn't say I was old. When did I say that?
Like, no, I said it would be like that, right?
Oh.
Like you're making the people who are not technical feel even
Less
worse
technical?
about it.
Yeah, but I just pick the stuff I'm good at. That's it. I don't do the bad things I'm bad at. So you can do that too. Pick things you're good at.
Guys, so I look up the ClickUp conference now that Bob was telling me that there's a ClickUp conference, and the person that pops up is the team conference.
Right.
Google might have you figured out, Alex.
Yeah,
Maybe.
they do.
Oh, by
They
the
do
way,
have a
Alex,
ClickUp conference.
my mom sees you all the time now. She thinks you're like super duper famous because she watched the Jira Life with it. And so now you keep popping up and she's just like, he's always there.
He's everywhere.
I was like, I think it's just your screen, but yes, Mom, it's okay.
All right, so we are down to the last few seconds here. Rodney, close it out.
Yep. Again, thank you for Revyz for sponsoring us and backing us up. Liz, thank you for being here, sponsoring a very energetic discussion. We're definitely going to have you back because I don't think we're done
Oh yeah.
with this conversation.
Anytime.
And
And
Liz, I have to go hang out in Santa Monica one of these days because we're only 30 miles away from each other.
Yes. I will bring food. I will pay for food. I will hang out. And if Lina, you find that old computer of any kind in your dad's garage, I'm coming. I'm just inviting myself now. I would bring more food, whatever your mom needs.
My in-laws are a lot closer to you than we are. So
Mm-hmm.
That being said, for food, Alex is saying he wants Del Taco.
Yeah, we're just gonna have Del Taco cater.
I deep fry anything also. So just keep that in mind.
But thank everyone for joining us today. And as we always say, we didn't choose the Jira Life. Jira Life chose us.